Hello my lovelies, welcome to another yoga class with yours truly. My name is Natasha, also known as Nourish Natasha on pretty much every platform. I specialize in accessible yoga for all bodies, for all levels, and connecting yoga to astrology, the moon phases, and all that jazz. I wanted to put out a series of classes specifically for people in bigger bodies, for plus size people, for my curvy people. Of course, anyone and anybody can do this video. But I felt this was really requested, really highly requested by a lot of people. And you know, I think it's just important to create a safe space for those in bigger bodies, because I know what it's like to go to a yoga studio and I'm always pretty much the biggest person in class, and you know, so most of the time I'm the instructor and I'm the biggest person in class. And I totally get what it's like to, you know, not feel included in a yoga class, or, you know, just not want to go to a studio for those reasons. And I just really wanted to come out with a series of yoga classes for plus size people specifically, just to kind of get you started and make you feel safe and included, and you know, like you could do the full yoga class. So that's the point of these classes. Again, it was really highly requested. Again, anyone and anybody can do this class, but I'll be cueing poses very specifically for people in larger bodies. So yeah, the biggest thing in my classes is to listen to your body. Everything I say is an option, not an order, so I want you to do what feels best for you. I'm going to be giving lots of variations. This is going to be a very gentle class specifically for low back pain. That was also something that was really requested. And yeah, we're going to pretty much do it all on the ground. Now this class can also be done in a bed. If you're like, okay, maybe you don't have a yoga mat, or maybe you'd be more comfortable in your bed, you can do this class in bed. Also, have any props that you need. I'm going to try to keep this as little props as possible, just to make it accessible, because hey, you know what, maybe we can't afford yoga blocks or a strap or anything like that, or maybe you just don't have anything around you that you can use. But if you want to have your props with you, please go ahead. You know what's best for you. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use old textbooks or books that are this general shape and size. If you don't have a strap, you can use a towel or a blanket. And if you don't have a mat as well, you can use a towel or a blanket, or again, practice from your bed. And I would recommend, if this is your first time doing yoga, or you know, just listen to your body. Maybe you want a pillow or a bolster or a blanket to lay on, to sit on. Just listen to you. Listening to your body is an act of love, is an act of trusting your intuition. So I want you to do that in this class. So without further ado, we're going to get started. We're going to get started on our backs. So I want you to take your time. Now again, maybe you would be more comfortable laying back on a pillow or a bolster or a blanket. I want you to do what feels best for you and listen to your body. So we're going to find our way to our backs, nice and gentle. I want you to lower yourself down nice and slow. And now once we're here, we're going to start in Savasana, which is corpse pose. We're going to take up space on our mat. Now, here's the thing that I find I struggle with in Savasana. So our Savasana is like we're laying completely on the mat. You know, you're letting your limbs go where they want to go. You're taking up space. But what I find is that I have this like little, probably a couple inches of space between my low back and the mat, because my booty is so big. So, you know, in a larger body, this is something we struggle with. So what I want you to do, if you're feeling that way and you're like, ooh, my low back makes it feel a little weird, you're going to bend your knees, and then you're just going to lift your hips just a bit, just enough to tuck that low back. So you're tucking that pelvis. You're going to feel that low back hit the mat, and then extend your legs out. And you kind of have to keep that little tuck in the pelvis to keep that low back on the mat. But just that act of kind of intentionally tucking will help lower that back pain in that low back, and it'll just kind of, you know, make you feel more supported that your low back is on the mat. So do that if it feels good. Another option is you can keep your knees bent. If you're still like, hey, my low back feels funky, keep your knees bent here in this Savasana. Again, listening to your body. So wherever you're at, I want you to take up space. Remember that you're worthy of taking up space, so take up all the space that your body needs. And I want you to relax here, closing your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And just bringing your awareness to your breath. I want you to notice it as it goes in and out through your nose. What helps me is to visualize my nose in my head and just watch that breath go in and out through your nostrils. And as you inhale, you feel the chest expand, the belly expand again. Take up space, no sucking in. And as you exhale, just let it all go. And as we breathe here, I want you to notice any tensions, blockages, constraints that are coming up. They might be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I just want you to take a check-in, an inventory of the body, the mind, the soul. And notice what's coming up for you. And here's the magic is we don't practice judgment, we don't practice attachment. We just notice these things. We're like, hey, I feel that tension coming up there, or I feel a mental blockage. We acknowledge it. We get curious about it, but we don't judge ourselves for it. We're human. And we know that we can work through it, and we know that with our breath, we can let it go. So just continue to breathe here. Use your breath to bring you to this moment, to the present. We'll take a few deep inhales and exhales here. I want you to inhale in through the nose, fill up the chest, fill up the belly, take up space. And open mouth, exhale. Release any of those constraints, those blockages, those tensions. Big inhale in through the nose, fill up, and open mouth, exhale. Last one, we're going to inhale in through the nose, fill it up, take up space. Suck in a little more air, hold it at the top, and open mouth, exhale. Now on your next inhale, we're going to invite in some movement. I want you to extend your arms overhead and extend those legs out. So a big morning stretch like you just woke up this morning. Active toes, active fingers. Again, just really taking up space. Maybe wiggle those toes or wiggle those fingers. And now we're going to take a crescent moon stretch here on our mat. So what I want you to do is maybe scoot your hips over a little bit to the right. And your legs and arms are going to go over to the left. So you're forming a little banana, a little crescent moon here on your mat. I want you to feel that expansion from right hip to right rib cage. We're kind of decompressing the spine here, just expanding, taking up space. And maybe if it feels good, you want to cross your right ankle over your left. Again, just continuing that expansion in your right side. And breathing here, breathing into that space between your ribs and your hip. Creating space. And gently inhale here and exhale, returning back to center now. We're going to take it to the other side, so maybe you scoot your hips over to the left just a bit. And then arms and legs go over to the right. Now creating that space in that left side, finding that expansion in the left side. Maybe you want to cross left ankle over right. Again, just an option. Breathing here. Feeling that breath in that left side. And take an inhale here and exhale. Go ahead and return gently back to center. Now you can bend into those knees. And we're going to take a reclined pigeon here. So what I want you to do is with your knees bent, feet bottoms are on the mat, you're going to take that right ankle and you're just going to cross it over your left thigh. And we're going to stay right here. You're going to gently press into that right thigh to open up the hip just a bit. And again, really actively tucking that pelvis to feel that low back on the mat. And just gently breathing here. Breathing into that right hip. Again, maybe gently pressing on that right thigh to open the hip a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and switch sides, so releasing that right leg down, now crossing left ankle over right thigh, and again, just gently pressing on that left thigh to open up the hip, actively tucking that pelvis down to the mat. We're just really gently opening up those hips here. A lot of the time when we have pain in our low back, it is also our hips. It's this whole sacral area, this whole sacral chakra just has some tightness. We need to open it up. And gently go ahead and release. Now what I want you to do is just very gently pull those knees into your chest and release over to one side. So you're coming to a fetal pose here, using your bottom arm as a pillow. Just take a moment here to breathe. And then that top arm is gently going to press into the ground or to the mat, and you're going to very slowly, nice and gentle, make your way up to a seat. Now when we're here in our seat, I want you to find a seat that's comfortable for you. So in yoga, this pose is called easy seated pose, but hey, this might not be easy seated pose for you, and that's okay. Maybe you have a knee injury, hip injury, maybe this just doesn't feel good. So you can sit on a pillow, bolster, blanket, block, whatever feels good, or maybe you want to extend the legs out, or find any position here that feels comfortable for you. So wherever we're at in our seated pose, I want you to maybe scooch some goodness out from underneath you so you can feel those sit bones on the mat. And we're going to take some twists here. So I want you to inhale those arms up, and exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So left hand is coming to right knee, and right hand is coming to tent behind you, and you're gazing over that right shoulder. Now remember here to make room, to make space for your belly, maybe your boobs, thighs, all that goodness. Just make space for it, honor it. And remember, it doesn't matter how deep you can twist. I want you to inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale, maybe twist a little bit deeper. And then we're going to inhale, everything comes back to center. And exhale, take it to the other side. So this time, right hand comes to left knee, left hand tents behind you. Again, you know, you can adjust as needed for the boobs, the belly, the thighs here, gazing over that back shoulder. Keeping a tall spine here, so we inhale to lengthen, exhale, maybe we twist a little bit more. And inhale, come back to center. And exhale, release. Now we're going to take some side stretches, so I want you to release that right hand down to the mat. Inhale that left arm up and open. So again, creating that expansion in our left side, pushing this left hip down to the mat. Try to keep that chest open to the ceiling. And breathing here. Maybe inhale, open up the chest a little bit more. And then inhale, come back to center. And exhale, take it over to the other side. So left hand comes down, right arm comes up and over. And again, we just kind of open that chest up to the ceiling. Feeling that breath in that right side now. Maybe inhale, pull that right arm back a little bit, opening up the chest even more. And inhale, gently come back to center. All right, we're gonna make our way to a tabletop, but only for a moment, so don't worry if you have a knee injury, it's okay. We're just gonna use this tabletop as a transition, so taking it nice and slow. And then you're just gonna lower all the way down to your belly. And now you can bring your forearms to kind of cross in front of you. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of rock the hips here. You're just gonna rock your hips from side to side. Creating some movement in the hips again. Getting into this low back. And then go ahead and come to stillness. Now what I want you to do is, I'm going to demo this on the left so you can see me, but you're going to bend into your right knee, bringing it right out from the hip joint. Now you can put a pillow or a blanket underneath this if it feels uncomfortable for you, but your knee is going to come out from that hip socket and your foot's coming out from the knee. Now, if this is too much in your hip or your knee, you can kind of lower it, just keeping a gentle bend in the knee. Again, listening to your body. And we're just going to hold here and we're going to breathe. He's getting into that left hip. This is a half frog pose here. Just breathing into that hip, into that low back. Inhale here and exhale, gently release that right leg. Now taking it to the other side. So again, bending into that knee, wherever is comfortable for you. Just making sure that foot's coming directly out from the knee. Finding this on the right side now. And again, just breathing into that hip. Breathing into that low back. And gently inhale here and exhale, go ahead and release. Now I want you to place your hands underneath your shoulders and very gently, very slowly, we're going to press back up into our tabletop again. We're not going to be here for long. We're going to find a child's pose. So the best variation that I love, I take this more than I take regular child's pose, is a wide-legged child's pose. So I'm going to bring my knees as wide as the mat. This is creating space for my thighs, my belly, my boobs. I'm going to sink my hips back to my heels. And I'm going to extend my arms out and I'm going to go ahead and drop down to the mat. Now again, you can place pillow, blanket, bolster underneath you if that feels good. And just kind of sink into this pose here. This is getting into the hips as well as the low back. A little bit into the shoulders, the chest. I just want you to breathe here. Again, as you inhale, you feel that chest expand, that belly expand, take up space. And as you exhale, maybe you sink deeper into this child's pose. And now I want you to inhale here. Exhale, you're going to walk your hands over to the right. So again, we're creating that expansion to the left side. And breathing into this pose. And creating space in that left side body. And just remembering with every breath, with every pose, with every asana we find that you are worthy of taking up space. You are worthy of honoring your body. You're just plain worthy. Go ahead and inhale, come through center. And exhale, we're going to take it over to the left. And now feeling the expansion in that right side body. Breathing here. And go ahead and inhale gently. Come back to center. Take your exhale. And then inhale. I just want you to very slowly, very gently lift up to a seat on your knees. And then we're just going to take a seat on our butts. Nice and slow. Again, scoot your goodness out if you need to. Sit on a pillow, bolster, blanket, block if it feels good. We're going to take some seated folds here. Really get into that low back. So we're going to start with a seated figure four. So I want you to extend your right leg out. Left knee bends, you're creating like a number 4 with your legs here. I want you to make sure you square yourself over this right leg. I want you to inhale for a straight spine and exhale, fold. Now remember, it doesn't matter if you can touch your toes or not. What matters is that you feel it in that low back and in this hamstring. And remember to make room for your space, for your body, and create space for your body. So if you're like me and maybe have a bigger belly, bigger boobs, you can kind of scooch them out of the way. There's nothing wrong with adjusting yourself. I feel like we feel, in a yoga class that we're not allowed to take variations or we're not allowed to adjust ourselves because it feels like we're doing the pose quote unquote wrong. I promise you you're not. You're not doing it wrong. The pose that works for your body is the right pose. And yoga is not for the flexible, it's for the willing. They call it yoga practice, not yoga perfect, for a reason, my friends. Maybe inhale to lengthen a little bit more. Exhale, fold. And go ahead and inhale, gently come on up. We'll switch out legs. So now left leg extends, right knee bends, creating that figure four with your legs. Squaring yourself over with that left leg now. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, go ahead and fold. Remember, adjust as needed. Making sure you can feel it in that low back and the hamstring of that left leg. Maybe inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold a little deeper. Inhale, gently come on back up. And exhale, release. Now we're going to take wide-legged folds. So we're going to bring both legs to extend out now. Move my little notebook here. And here, I want you to remember, you don't have to go super wide. Listen to your body. Where is your edge? Where is your limit? So coming to this wide-legged position. Again, we're going to inhale to lengthen. And exhale, we're gonna fold. Now, again, I don't care how deep you can fold. What I care is that you feel it. What I care is that it feels good for you and your body. And the point of these folds isn't to just kind of force and slouch over as deeply as we can to get as far down to the ground as we can. I want you to keep a straight spine and feel it in that low back, and you're hinging from your hips. So my best analogy is Barbie. You know how she her torso kind of moves independently from her legs? That's the kind of motion we're going for here. So your upper body is folding over those legs. And again, use a pillow here, use a bolster, use a block if you need to. What I want you is to feel it in your low back and the groin and the hamstrings. Breathing here, maybe inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold a little deeper. Inhale, gently come on up, staying in this wide-legged position. We're going to go ahead and square ourselves over that right leg. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. Now you should feel this in the back, left hip, and the hamstring still a bit. Remembering again, just keep that straight spine and make room for yourself if you need to. Maybe inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold a little deeper. And inhale, come on up, switch sides, squaring yourself over the left leg now. Again, inhale to lengthen, and exhale to fold. Now you might notice that maybe one side is a little bit more flexible than the other. That's okay. We are human, not symmetrical. We're not supposed to be symmetrical. Again, maybe inhale, lengthen, and exhale to fold a little deeper. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come back to center. All right. We are going to find a bound angle pose here. So you're bringing your feet bottoms together to touch. And here, you can place pillows or bolsters under those knees or those thighs if you need a little support here. Again, just listening to your body. And again, we're hinging like Barbie from the hips. So I'm going to inhale to lengthen. And exhale. I'm going to fold over these legs. And it doesn't matter if your knees are up here, if they're down here. I want you to feel it in that groin. I want you to feel it in that low back. Again, trying to keep that straight spine. Maybe inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold a little deeper. And inhale and go ahead and come on up. Now we're going to do a straight-legged forward fold. And this used to be the bane of my existence as a plus size person, because hey, keeping this forward fold, you know, as it's cute in traditional yoga class, keeping the feet together as close as possible, you know, just kind of folding. It's the same as child's pose, right? We don't have room for our goodness. We don't have room for our thighs, for our belly, for our boobs. So I encourage you to widen your feet. Widen them as much as you need to so you can make room for that belly, room for those thighs, room for those boobs, and then square yourself over your legs. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. And again, remembering that it doesn't matter if you can touch your toes. And you have options here. So this pose is for the low back and for the hamstrings. If you want to get deeper into the low back, I recommend keeping a little micro bend to those knees, folding deeper. If you're like, hey, maybe want some hamstring stretches, I'm going to straighten my legs and really just try to straighten and not keep a bend in the knee. So make this pose work for you. Breathing here. Maybe inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. And inhale, go ahead and come back up. All right, so we're gonna find our way to our backs again. So set yourself up any way you need to. If you need a pillow, bolster, blanket, block, or anything underneath you, we're gonna lower down to our backs. Nice and gentle. And I want you to keep the knees bent here. And we're just gonna gently windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And this is one of my favorite low back IT band stretches. And now the next time the knees are over to the right, I want you to just leave them there. So leave both of those knees over to the right. And now if it feels good, you can take this right ankle, cross it just over the left knee. Again, not on the knee, but just over it. And again, if it doesn't feel good, release it. Listening to your body, you're gonna feel this pull in that IT band on the left leg, and you're also gonna feel this in the low back. Breathing here. Gently release that right foot if you had it on that left leg. Go back to windshield wipering the legs from side to side. And then next time they're over to the left, I just want you to leave them there. And again, an option, if it feels good, crossing that left ankle just over the right knee and feeling that pull and that right IT band. Breathing here. And go ahead and gently release. Windshield wiper out the legs one more time. And come back to center. Now we're going to take some twists here. Twists are kind of like the ultimate lower back relief. I want you to bring your arms out to the sides in a T position. Gently just draw those knees up. Inhale here and exhale. Just drop them over to the right. You can use this right hand on that left thigh to just encourage that twist if you need to. You can gaze over that left shoulder and just breathe here. Feel this release. And using these twists as a release for anything that doesn't serve you. So again, maybe any of those constraints, blockages, tensions that came up at the beginning of class, using these twists to just let them go. Any thoughts or notions that you are not worthy. You are worthy. Remembering that your worth is not based on physical appearance. It does not change as your body changes. You are always worthy, and your body is always worthy. Go ahead and inhale, draw everything back to center. And exhale, we're going to drop the legs over to the left now. Maybe gazing over that right shoulder. And again, just breathing here. focusing on releasing anything that doesn't serve you. Using your breath just to let any of those negative thoughts go. And inhale, go ahead and gently come back to center. All right, we're gonna take our Savasana here. So what I want you to do for this Savasana, this final pose, is I want you to bend the knees. Option to put a bolster underneath your legs if you have one. That definitely feels good on the low back. But we're gonna bend our knees, and then we're gonna kind of knock our knees in together. And this is going to create that kind of tuck of the pelvis where our low back is pressed into the mat. And this is where I want you to take your Savasana. Again, if it feels good, bringing your hands to the sides. Closing your eyes if it feels good for you. And we're just going to breathe here. This is our final pose. I just want you to breathe gently. Let go of any tension in the body, the mind, the soul. Just listen to your breath, and I'll let you know when it's time to come back. When you're ready, just gently bring your awareness back into your space and back into your body. Maybe wiggle your toes or wiggle your fingers. Maybe roll out the wrists or roll out the ankles. Gently bringing more movement in. And then from this position, we're just going to roll over to one side again, finding that fetal pose, using the bottom arm as a pillow. Just one more moment of stillness and silence here. And gently, when you're ready, pressing up to a seat. Any seat that feels comfortable for you and your body. Bringing your hands to either side of you, feeling the mat beneath your fingertips. I want you to inhale those arms up, taking all this wonderful energy we just created. Exhale, bring them back down, releasing anything that does not serve you today. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, draws the palms together to touch, and bring the hands to the heart center. The love and light in me honors the love and light in each of you. We bow to our practice. Thank you. That is all I have for you today, my lovelies. I hope your low back feels a little bit better. I know mine for sure does. And let me know any other classes you would like to see. I'm planning on putting out a few plus size specific classes just for those that are just starting out in yoga and you just want to kind of get to know your body. All the classes I put out are friendly for all bodies and all levels. I put out classes for every new moon and full moon, and then I try to put out a class once a week for self-love, self-compassion, anxiety, stress, any of those things that, you know, we just need to make our lives a little better. So don't forget to subscribe and let me know how you feel. And check me out on Instagram and TikTok. I also put out content there. And yeah, that's all I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.